Hey students, so these are the notes for section 10.8, finishing after you've watched the YouTube video. Zoom in. Okay, there we go. So that video explained what a radian is, which is really interesting. And the fact that the radians and degrees, they got that from how the Earth rotates around the sun, and 360 is almost 365, and that the radians 6.28 is almost a full circle. It's really interesting. But what you need to know is that you will use radians when you go to trig. If you go to trig, you will see radians in algebra 2. In geometry, you will see radians pop up in problems that have to use degrees. And so my job right now is just to make sure that you know how to change a radian to a degree and a degree to radian. It's really easy, folks. Okay, so if you're looking at these two formulas right here, what do you notice about them? They are just inverses of each other. 180 over pi, pi over 180. Miss Ertzberger, how do I remember which one is which? You don't have to remember. What you need to remember is radians have pi in their answer, and degrees do not. So you use whichever formula puts a pi into the problem or takes it out. And that is all you need to know. And then 180 over pi and pi over 180 just fit perfectly where they go. So let me show you what I mean. Okay. Oh, and also I want to let you know that we can have negative degrees and negative radians. When you get to the unit circle, you'll find that a rotation goes this way for a positive degree, and it goes this way for a negative degree, starting at the axis that's right here. And if I have that right. And you can get negative rotations and negative radians and negative degrees. That's all at a later date. Okay, let me show you how to do this. So if I'm going to convert 4 pi over 3 to degrees, there's no pi in the answer because degrees don't have pi in it. So what I need to use is the formula that's going to get rid of the pi. Well, I need the pi on the bottom in the denominator so that these will cancel out. Guys, that is so easy. All right, now let's use your brain. Only pick up your calculator if you have to. The pi's cancel out. Don't multiply 4 times 180. You know that 3 goes into 180. Think of a straight line and how you can divide it into 3. That's going to be 60, 60, 60. Think of an equilateral angular triangle. All right, so that's 60. 4 times 60 is 240 degrees. Make sure you put the degree symbol. It's that easy. All right, negative 3 pi over 2, changing it to degrees. So I need to get rid of the pi. So I'm using this formula here. Pi's are gone. 2 goes into 180 90 times. 3 times 9 is 90 is 270. Do not forget the negative. Negative 270. All right, and then if we're going to go the other way to convert to radians, I need pi to show up in my answer. I'm going to put that 60 over 1. You don't have to. I just like the way it looks. I need pi to show up in my answer, so I'm using this formula. Okay, and all we have to do is reduce. Now look, get rid of those zeros. 6 goes into 18 3 times. There's no other numbers. And your answer is pi over 3. Now, pi over 3 what? Pi over 3 radians. And that's important that you label your answer because pi over 3 is a number, but remember a radian is what, 57 something degrees? And so you've got pi over 3 radians. You need to have the measurement with it, okay? And then if we're going to convert 405, this one will be a little bit harder. You might want to pick up your calculator. You don't know this, but I do. These are divisible by 45, okay? And you may not know that. I don't expect you to know that, okay? But what I do know is I am going to have a negative answer. I am going to have pi in my answer. And what happens is 45 goes into 405 9 times. It goes into 184 times, and then the pi you just stick on top. If you're using your calculator for this one, guys, do most of the work without your calculator. Use your brain, okay? But if you have one that's bigger like this, if you have a graphing calculator, remember it's just 405 divided by 180, and then math, enter. There you go. If you're on the other calculator, put 405 over 180 in with the ABC key, and then change it to an improper fraction. And I've shown you that before, so you should be good. That's it. We're done. And when you get to the worksheet number 66, you're going to see that you have 10 problems where you're changing them to radians. And be sure you put RAD as your answer with it. And then you've got 10 problems that you're changing into degrees. You do have some bigger numbers in here, so try to do it without your calculator. I've given you really big numbers here. So if you need to use your calculator, that's fine, but try to do as much of it as you can without your calculator, and you can show all of your work and put your answers on here. All right, thank you, students.